has been tightened.
At UC Berkeley today, student Republicans and pro-Ron Paul organizations today touted the Republican presidential candidate as the new Barry Goldwater and a defender of the Constitution. About 100 people shouted their approval as the candidate of the people, whether liberal, conservative, independent, or otherwise. The libertarian Paul's views are said by The Nation magazine to reflect the views of actual conservative voters who have been neglected by the Republican establishment. Wendell Harper reports.
Can I get a big cheer for Ron Paul? Yeah!
A young Republican student, UC Berkeley, joining campaign organizers, organizational representatives, and other students, strictly Republican, or so they said, in touting the campaign of Republican Ron Paul, whom they say is not being given a fair shake in the debates, is the only hope for a nation on the brink of economic and military disaster.
My name is Josh. I'm 21 years old, and I'm from Fremont, California. I believe that most people are just like, dude, I don't even want to think. I just want to go to Starbucks. I want to go to McDonald's. I want to watch American Idol. I don't care about the government going around policing the world and then staging false ops like 9/11 and then saying that we need you to give up more of your liberty so we can make you feel safe. I really think that our issues, our life, our whole way of living depends on Ron Paul getting voted into office. Because, like you said earlier, Democrats and Republicans, they're the two faces of the same evil.
Anti-war activists, meanwhile, joining the fray in favor of conservative Ron Paul. Antiwar.com Representative Justin Raimondo says Paul is everything the other candidates aren't, be they Republican, Democrat, or Independent.
There's just one way to get the war party out of power, and that is by electing Ron Paul President of the United States.
Much like The Nation magazine, many say Paul reflects the views of actual conservative voters, neglected by the Republican establishment. But student Ja E. Zhao believes in Paul because of his political likeness to another candidate who ran for president.
I really love Ron Paul for his economic stances because this guy is really the new Barry Goldwater. I really am happy that this is somebody who really has never, he's never voted for against anything that he thinks is not authorized by the Congress.
When you hear people talk about what Ron Paul stands for, one harkens back to a letter in the San Francisco Chronicle that says Ron Paul is able to represent whatever voters see in him. Picture these students with their differing reasons for supporting Ron Paul.
We've had for years candidates of both parties talking with a lot of libertarian rhetoric, and then they come into office and their actions do not match their words.
Hey everybody, how are you doing today? Coming out representing UC Davis. It's important that we talk to every single person because Ron Paul did not get hardly any time during the Republican debate. CNN did not let him respond when attacks were made on him by other Republican candidates. They don't want him because they're one of the problems. The media and the politics and the corporations all work together, and he had no voice.
Hi, my name's Ross Lingenfelder, and I'm president of the Berkeley College Republicans, and I support Ron Paul for president. This is a rally for peace and freedom. We can't have peace until we stop the war in our own country, the war against the unborn. Roe v. Wade must be overturned, and Ron Paul agrees. There's no such thing as liberty without life. Life begins at conception. Dr. Ron Paul, who delivered 4,000 babies, agrees. Overturn Roe v. Wade, elect Ron Paul for president. We also can't have peace or freedom in this country until we stop the invasion of our country from the South and from illegal immigrants. Ron Paul agrees. Stop illegal immigration, no amnesty.
And what does Ron Paul himself say he stands for? Paul makes it clear he's not a middle-of-the-road candidate, whether crossover or not, as some have called him.
People like to be left alone, and that's all I'm talking about. I'm not promising anything. I'm not promising handouts or any freebies whatsoever. I want to just allow people to live their own lives and assume responsibility for themselves. But I have a way of solving the financial crisis we have by stopping the spending overseas, changing our foreign policy, and tied the people over that we have taught to be so dependent, those who are on Medicare and on Social Security. But we can't do it. Otherwise, we're going bankrupt.
But not all voters embrace Paul's positions, as witnessed in one of the debates where he criticized the U.S. and the war in Iraq.
All we have to do is start talking to people and trading with people. We don't need to assume that the world is going to blow up. When I was drafted into the military and I served 5 years in the military, the Soviets had 40,000 nuclear weapons. And here we're now worrying about agitating and putting missiles in Europe. It's the Turks' business. It's not our business.
The students at UC Berkeley indicate their reason for coming to believe in Ron Paul as the only savior, but that may have been mitigated somewhat by one student who sought to bring some clarity to the issue.
Hi everyone, my name is Anya. I actually didn't know there was a Ron Paul support gathering today, and I kind of wanted to inject a different opinion into this whole rally. You need to remember that you can make change, and you don't need to put trust in any kind of like Jesus figurehead to save you. You know, like you need to put your own impetus into changing this country. And, you know, yeah, grassroots organization is doing whatever you think needs to be done to make this country better, and not necessarily rallying behind someone and thinking that they will solve all your problems.
Reporting for KPFA News, this is Wendell Hart.